Finally, we've come to the end of the extended play, and we're about to listen to Stop Making Music, which is sort of familiar in my head, or is sort of which is sort of familiar in my head because Stop Making Music was the subtitle given to the previous and then latest Message album, which was Message 6, Stop Making Music, released on the 9th of August 2023. I did double check its release date prior to recording these audio commentaries, and I was spot on in my recollection of that release date in take 1 of these commentaries, which is now irrelevant because you'll never get to hear take 1 for your own benefit. Okay. Oh, I just realized I forgot to I forgot to describe the previous song. Emergency was described as incredibly electronic, which is apparent if you have listened to it. And this song, Stop Making Music, was described as boring at first and then becomes more groovy or dramatic as it continues. Which is fair, I guess. It did sound boring at first. And it does sound dramatic. Especially when the chorus kicks in. The drama. The fabricated drama in the chorus can be felt. Or at least I felt it back then. Back when I was working on it. And it did become more groovy to me during the mastering process, where I applied a couple of audio effects, like a compressor and a limiter, to enhance the song a little bit, or a lot. That wasn't that word critic was not a reference to a script and audio companion project I made called The Simple Critic Series 1 of 1. There is no connection between this song and that creative project. My awful singing voice. Evidently, I am still making music, so I defied the subtitle of Message 6, and I've continued to make music with my awful singing voice, which I have described in this song as sounding like a dying cow, which is true. Self-deprecation or self-criticism. Listen to them anyway. Oh. The close effect, or like the effect applied to the word close, was something I did early on during production on Stop Making Music, and this song was also the last song I got onto, and finished off because I wanted to start the mastering process, which I do at the end of, or I did at the end of the entire production process in terms of the music at the end, in track listing order or in chronological order, which means I started mastering Rise and Shine first, and then moved down to Stop Making Music, and now that I've spoken about that, or given context to what I'm about to say, which is actually irrelevant because the story I'm about to begin has nothing to do with the mastering process for Message 7, and has everything to do with the long journey I did go on. And this journey wasn't emotional or spiritual or crazy. It was just a long journey that led to Stop Making Music being a song on Message 7. So let's try, and again I'll try to truncate the story so that, and avoid stammering for my own benefit and your benefit. The story begins, or actually how this song Stop Making Music began was that I created the instrumental for this song in the same year I released Message 5 Surprise. The year was 2021, and in that year I felt unmotivated, or I lost the motivation to make songs or music, and the instrumental for the song was one of the few songs I curated during that quiet year, and the first name for the song was Bad Boy, because I guess 22-year-old me thought the words bad and boy were relevant, or sounded like they were coming up in the song. To put that better, the first name I gave to Stop Making Music was Bad Boy, and it was called Bad Boy because I guess back then listening to the instrumental made me think of the words bad and boy. I don't know why. You have to ask 22-year-old me back then. And then that happened, and then oh god, I don't want to lie or mislead anyone listening to this behind the scenes story. So I'm not going to say anything I'm uncertain about. So I'll skip it. So now I'll skip ahead to 2024 or 2025 when I started working on Messick 7. Q7. I think Rise and Shine and Stop Making Music were the songs which I brought back from the dead, literally. That both of those songs, or these songs, have existed for the longest time in development hell or production hell. And focusing again on Stop Making Music. I don't remember. No, I don't remember what happened in between 2021 and 2025. But something I kind of remember is or something I definitely did was when I decided to bring back or open up the project for Stop Making Music. Specifically, its instrumental. I had an easy time of cherry picking the part of the song I liked, and which were then which were then kept, and now you've heard. If you have heard it, and that's how it. And yeah, that's a story. That was the, and that's how Stop Making Music and ended up being 3 minutes and 24 seconds, and I guess that's a lovely way to end the story of how Stop Making Music came to be on Mystic 7 as the 6th and last track or song on said extended play. And yeah, the song has ended on Bandcamp on my computer, and unless there was something else that I would like to talk about in relation to Stop Making Music, this is it. Thank you for listening to these audio commentaries for Message 7 Special. If you are interested in listening to this extended play, you are welcome to visit any of the Hey It's Nath audio sites, such as Bandcamp and Payhip. And if you're listening to this in 10 years' time, you could probably listen to Message 7 on YouTube, as it will eventually be on YouTube. Yeah. So now you can go about to whatever you were doing, whether it was washing the dishes, gardening, making your own music, or reading a book. Go ahead and go back to that, and until next time, which may be coming up sooner than later, although I don't want to promise anything. Making promises can lead to disappointment. Or another way of saying that is, don't make empty promises you can't keep. What a lovely morning. I mean afternoon. What's the time? 2:08 p.m. Okay. Well, it's time to charge my smartphone. Goodbye.